Hey guys, and welcome to 2019 August edition of Watch Out. Today's going to be more of a rant than it is an episode, so we'll see how long this goes. But I'm going to tell you the truth about marriage as it pertains to watches. You know, in life, they say a good marriage you spend with one person for 50 years. You grow old with them, and two lives become one, and your tastes change as you get older, and it's all lovey-dovey and puppies and rainbows, and that's true. In marriage, that's true. When it pertains to watches, if somebody ever says that to you, they're so full of shit. Okay, and here is why. Because when it comes to watches, let's face it, everybody's a Mormon. When it comes to collectors and people who actually love watches. And there's a good reason. Because my grandmother once said, the person you would marry at 20 is not the same person you would marry at 30. And she's right. When you're 20, your mindset is totally different. What you want with your aspects of who you want in life based on what you can afford and what you're looking for is totally different than 10 years later when you're in a different financial position in your life and you're looking for something totally different. She's absolutely right. And the same pertains to watches in this aspect. Okay? When I was 20 years old, the only thing I could afford was a quartz watch. Basically because it was much cheaper and I didn't know anything really about automatics or wind-ups or anything else like that. This is the first thing you know. This is really the only thing you know when you're much younger, because it's the simplest thing to wear and the most inexpensive. As time goes on and you get a job and you make more money, your tastes are going to change and you're going to want watches to do different things based on what you enjoy. Like, for instance, this is a first example that I came across even last week. I was at LBI, and my friend asked me, when is high tide? We're sitting there at the beach, and I'm sitting there with my expensive Ulysse Nardine chronometer marine diver's watch, and I'm looking at the thing, and I said, wow, this is a great watch to bring down to LBI. However, it doesn't even have high or low tide on it, and they do make one with high or low tide. Maybe I would take an investment in getting a watch that can tell me high and low tide, so I know when I go down to the beach when it is in reference to where I should park my shit on the beach, so water doesn't get in the umbrella and the blankets. So that would make sense. But there are other more things that people like just for the fact that they want watches to do different things. My EBOS is a fun little one, and you think that would tell a lot. It does. It tells the day, it tells the date, it tells the month, and it tells the moon phase. It's called a triple date moon phase. It tells a lot, but it doesn't have things that some of my other watches have. My point being, you're never going to find a watch that has everything, because as much as that one has, it doesn't have diamonds. Sometimes you want to go out and have a nice look of diamonds. And here's a Rado Integral that has 200 diamonds in the face. And that's all lovely. But sometimes you would want a watch that has a skeletonized version. Maybe you want to see the inside of the watch. So I bring out my Rado Skeleton Centrics because I want to see the internal parts of the watch and how they move. Sometimes you just want to be cheap and go to a Yankees-Blue Jays game to see your team get their ass kicked. So I'll bring out my Blue Jays World Series watch. There's a billion different reasons why you can have a watch. I mean, sometimes I wear watches for name recognition alone. So I bring out the Rolex. Ooh, and sometimes I want to have gold in it. So there's the 18-karat gold bezel and on the band. So that's pretty. But sometimes I want to watch with diamonds on the bezel. So there's my Breitling watch. There's my diamond Breitling watch. But this watch would suck to go golfing with because it's pretty big and it's pretty heavy. So you say, bye-bye, toots. And you go off to the Rado Integral, which I have on currently because I'm going to play watch later today. So I'll take the Rado Integral Ceramica and I will go and play golf with it. And when I'm done with golf, I'll switch on to something that is actually automatic, because I only wear this because it's quartz and it's light and it fits nice. So maybe I'll go to the Corum because that represents a variety of different colors and it's a nice watch and very comfortable to wear. But if I'm going on vacation, I may actually want a different type of watch that, I don't know, tells me 2 different time zones, because I'm going on vacation, so I'm going to need to know the time zone for vacation, and I'm going to need to know the time zone for home. So I may bring out my Jaeger-LeCoultre Dual-Matic. Oh, that wouldn't be... and maybe I don't want the Dual-Matic because I'm wearing gray or a different color, so I'll bring out the Bulgari Diagonal, which tells 2 time zones in a different way, but it has a more of a gray base because it has a different type of color on its face. And maybe I want to customize a watch like I did with my Concord Mariner. Like I did here, I had it done in a red dial because not a lot of companies make red dials. Sometimes technology plays into a factor. I know people who just had a baby that wear Fitbits because it's the best way of them, number one, staying in shape for exercise, and number two, can monitor their baby's feeding times. There's nothing wrong with that either. Sometimes you get rid of watches because, hey, they're getting old and they don't work correctly anymore, and it's even too expensive to fix them. You see this very commonly with watches from the 1950s, such as this Breitling. It's a beauty, but it's really getting tougher and tougher to get it to run right because it's getting older and the number of people that are actually qualified to fix a watch like this are becoming fewer and fewer. So it becomes more and more expensive every time a watch like that has to get fixed. Sometimes I'm in the mood to see what the world time is, what time it is all over the world. So you would bring out a watch like the Ball World Timer, which tells you what time it is in every time zone, all 24 of them, because that's a cool watch to have. So my point being, when I was 20 years old, I had a watch like Vancure. This was my first real automatic watch, and I would have loved to collect more, but unfortunately, they went out of business. So times change, your tastes change, your activities change. And for that, you're going to need a watch to do a variety of different things. And not one watch can do every one of them. So if you're a true watch collector, I hate to tell you, whether you like it or not, you're a Mormon. And there's nothing wrong with being a Mormon when it comes to watches. I didn't say there wasn't anything wrong with being a Mormon in real life. That's a different topic for a different episode. I'm just talking about being a Mormon with watches is just fine because it represents who you are. I mean, geez, if you look at my collection, I have like 30 watches, and I've had 30 for a long period of time, but I've known people who told me that they got rid of their entire watch collection and they're down to one watch, and this is the watch they're going to spend the rest of your life with. Well, in that aspect, watches aren't like marriage for a successful marriage because they're full of shit. They're actually going to get bored of that watch really quickly because with technology and all the new styles and new aspects that watches can do these days, they're going to find something else that tickles their fancy, and they're going to look at it and they're going to want it, and if they can afford it, they're going to buy it. Especially with, as you get older, if your salary goes up, you're going to want more things because you only live life once and you only go around once, so you might as well enjoy it while you can. So yes, I do have a variety of watches for a lot of different reasons, and all collectors do. Don't believe anybody who is a true collector that just says, oh, I have one watch and it's going to be the Jack Nicklaus of all watches. Because even Jack Nicklaus, even though he's had his gold Rolex for 50 years, which he got at a party, and he's really not into watches, so it really doesn't count, but even he is giving it up for charity later on this year. So he's not going to have it for the rest of his life either. So please, let's cut the shit. There's a lot of different reasons why people have multiple watches, and for spouses who don't understand that, there's no other way I can relay it to you other than it defines who we are as a person, because we want to watch for a variety of different things. And whereas ladies can collect rings and bracelets and earrings and stuff like that, all the men have are watches. So let us enjoy it. Let us have a good time with it. And please, let's not be full of shit when somebody says, oh, this is going to be the one watch I'm going to have for the rest of my life. It's like a 16-year-old coming and telling you, oh, I found the one. I'm going to marry them. Yeah, 99.9% they're full of crap, because they haven't lived life and they haven't understand how to play the game and how to realize that there's so many things you're going to have to live and learn before you figure out who the one is. And in the watch world, that's not the case. It doesn't exist. So I'm going to enjoy being a Mormon just like everybody else when it comes to my watches. And thank you very much for joining me on this wonderful little rant. My next episode is going to actually be hopefully on the Zenith Defy Lab, if it ever gets its butt in here, because the one other thing I wanted to mention was, if people didn't have a variety of watches, then eBay wouldn't be as big as it was to sell all these types of watches, because even places like Joma Shop and WatchMax now have services where you can trade them in, because they know the new watches coming out are so enticing that you're going to want to trade your old one in and get something either more expensive or different. So even the watch sites have recognized you can't just have one watch. They don't want you to have one watch. They want you to buy as many as you possibly can, because that makes them more money, and they'll offer services for you to trade them in so you can have a variety of different looks, and you can keep swapping them out. Just like you change your wardrobe, people change their watch collections. So again, next episode, Defy Lab, if it can finally come in, because it's one of the hottest watches on the market. Please like, subscribe, give me some different topics you want me to discuss on future episodes, and I will get to that as well. Thank you very much, everybody, today for joining me on my rant, and I'll see you on the next episode of It's About Time. My bad. The next episode of Watch Out. Have a great day.